Hey everyone, welcome to another Webflow Community live stream. I am your host, Nelson. Thank you for joining me today. Oh, okay. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties on that previous stream link. So, thank you all for hopping over to this one. Yeah, things happen, live streaming is is tough, especially when you got to there's so many things you want to get right. So, we appreciate you all. So, speaking of you all, yeah, people in the live chat. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Let's see. I always like to say hi to the first person who walks into the virtual door, and Grace is here. Welcome, Grace. Peter's back. John, Christopher is back. Lucas, Alan is back. Christian, Maria, John, Miguel, Steven is back. Steve, Sam is back. Alexander's back. Oh, yes. Thank you all so much for being here. I love this wonderful community. And if you're not the type if you're not the type who wants to type in the live chat, that's totally fine. We appreciate you watching, spending time with us, or if you're watching a recording, thank you. We appreciate each and every one of you. I truly mean that. And speaking of community, first thing I would like to talk about before we get into this live support hour. Now, yes, we did release information that we are sunsetting the client billing feature. Now, the whole team, not just community, not just education, not just one team, the whole team, all the way up to the exec level. We've been reading all of your posts on Facebook, discourse forum, Reddit, Twitter's, everywhere on social. Yes, we've been reading all of those, and I want to be honest here and say we talked just this past hour. We were talking to Vikas, our director of product marketing, and we really got some more clarity on this decision. And this wasn't a thing that was like, okay, we're sunsetting it. Okay. Like, it wasn't a snap decision. No, it was a multi-month decision through lots of research. And this was a decision all the way to the top, all the way to with the exec team. They did community member interviews during this research. They were asking community members who were using the client billing feature, honestly, what is lacking from it, and what can we do better? What do you want us to build? How can we make it better for you, the community members who want to use this feature? And after a lot of that research was done, it really helped us realize that there were basic fundamental features that were missing from client billing. And this was the trade-off. Uh that was like trade-off to build more core fundamental tools for client billing to have a better outcome. And knowing that, we learned that it's a painful short-term decision, but knowing that like we're making the right decision for long term for everyone in the community. I mean, Vlad, I learned that Vlad himself was like going through this pain with the knew that the transition for this was going to be a bit of a pain for everyone, and we wanted to invest heavily. He himself said we want to invest heavily into this partnership that we have with Bonsai, because he saw that Bonsai had had better client uh tools for the freelancers. So we had to think about the trade-off of spending time in investing in client billing over multiple years, or finding an alternative tool. And with this decision, we can invest in our core features like the memberships that we all been waiting for, and logic that is just going to change so much in this web design game. We're going to have more time to invest in that. And we want to invest in those kind of things, because like we're not building Webflow just for service providers or the freelancers, small agencies. We're not just building Webflow for just enterprise. We're building it for everyone, and we're always thinking, how how do we accelerate innovation for everyone? And in again, Vlad, he heavily leaned into this partnership with Bonsai because he's the one who said we need to help those affected to have as smooth of a transition as possible. And while we're trying our best to build everything in Webflow, the honest truth is we can't. There's no such thing as a perfect tool for every use case in the world. All right. So nothing is perfect. If you know me, I always lean into that nothing is perfect, but you strive to be close to perfect, knowing you'll never get there. And we we don't want to spread our team too thin, right? Because what we really want to focus on is building more quality of life updates, like the new CSV import slash update feature, or the class name search that we added. We want to keep building those things as well as those big features, again, memberships and logic. So yeah, this wasn't an easy decision. This wasn't a quick or a decision. This was a heavily researched decision, and we thank you all for your honest feedback, and we want you to keep voicing them on our social channels and on the forum, because we understand that this transition, it takes time, and we're more it takes time. And if you need any more support with this transition, we want to help you. All right. So please reach out to our support team, and we'll provide as much support as we can to help you through this. So, last thing, I mean, as we continue to grow this platform for everyone, not just freelancers, not just enterprise, for everyone, which is a lofty goal, um, we're going to learn from each other in every step in this journey. So, thank you. We're going to do this together, and we appreciate you all. And I say that from the bottom of my heart. We appreciate each and every one of you. All right. Okay. So let's get into the live support hour. I see a lot of people in the live chat already coming up with questions, so we'll get to that. But let me explain how this live support hour happens. This is our second one that we're doing, and I'm trying to do one every month to connect with you all and get your questions answered. So for these live support hours, we are helping with answering anything that has to do with a design in your project, a layout, custom code question, general questions about Webflow or web design. All right. And if you have a question, yes, put it in the live chat. And our mods, thank you so much to Lacey and Matthew for helping out. They will filter them through to send it to me. And if you have any questions about your project, we'll have a form link that will be pinned to the top of the chat where you can put your project link there. All right. So let's go through the agenda for today. So I'm going to bring in our special guest customer support team member, whose name is Sean Jackson, aka SJ. He will help us out with the FAQ of the month, and then we'll open up to your questions and answers, or if you have any projects that you would like to show off to the community or get some help on. Okay. All right. So let's get on with it. Let's bring on SJ, technical customer support team member special. That's a lot of words. Technical customer support specialist, SJ. Welcome to the stream.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I love helping out people. I actually started my journey here at Webflow as a support team member. So thank you for carrying that torch and helping the community out day in and day out.
Oh, of course. I look forward to coming to work. It's a great community to support.
Yes, I agree. I agree. So, uh, for people who aren't aware, what does a customer support specialist actually do? What does your day to day look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. So typically we help out with like product support or like technical issues, account questions, or like application errors. Um,
Mm,
we don't necessarily like lean into like supporting like UI practices or design help, but that being said, we definitely like point people in the right direction and give them like links to university articles, or tell them where they can go in the forum so that the community experts can give them a hand.
okay. All right. Cool. So to introduce you more to the community, uh, I did some light research on you before the stream, and I saw that you started your career as an elementary school teacher, and I guess it shows that why you want to, why you like helping people. But wh- can you quickly tell us, like, you started as elementary school teacher, but then how did you get into tech and then Webflow?
Yeah, I kinda took a weird route to get here. So, yeah, I, went to school, got my master's in education, so, taught elementary school for 5 years and absolutely loved it. Like, there's nothing better than, shaping the minds of tomorrow and,
Yeah.
hanging out with a bunch of seven-year-olds all day. It always keeps you on your toes. What kinda prompted me to make a change was I have 3 kids as well, and
Mm-hmm.
so my kids were getting to school age, and so I was missing out on like school plays, and our spring breaks never lined up, and so I was just like missing out on some quality time that I feel like was really important, and
Yeah.
just supporting my family and being there for my family. So had some friends here in town that were working for a tech startup, and jumped in sales, and that was not good, and made my way over to support. And that's where I was like, "Oh, this is where I'm supposed to be." And then I made my way to Webflow. So
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Like it's very important, for that family time. You can't get those moments back. Once that school play is over, that's it.
yeah,
That's it. And all you have the memory of a video if someone took, but like thank you for being part of the team and helping the community, and I'm glad you have more time with your family. Last thing I want to tell people about you is I learned from another customer support team member, Will Moen. I think that's his last, how you say his
Mohan,
last name.
yeah,
Yeah, Moan. He said that you both do a Dungeons and Dragons podcast called Guild Trip. Can you tell me about that? Like, how did that start? And
yeah. So Will and I have been playing D and D together for years and years and years, and uh, we thought, why not record it? And so we started recording our sessions, and then we were like, oh man, we just like the improv side of things where you're gonna make stuff up. So Guild Trip is mostly improv. So we get together and sit down and we're like, what would be a cool adventure? And then our characters ultimately get guilt tripped into going on the adventures. So we thought it was a clever name, Guild Trip.
I like it.
And yeah, we just have a lot of fun. You get to see friends once a week, and yeah, it's a great time.
Nice, nice. All right. Well, let's quickly jump into the frequently asked question of the month. Now, these before every live support hour, I ask the customer support team member to gather up all the support tickets, like their physical things that they print out, and then gather them up and then see which ones are similar and address that one question so that maybe we can clip it and we can use it as a resource for everyone who has that same question in the future. So, Sean, can you tell us what the FAQ of the month is and what's the solution?
Yeah, absolutely. So uh, I went against the grain a little bit, Nelson, if you'll forgive me. So this isn't the highest frequency like asked question, but
Hmm.
it's growing in popularity. So we've
Ah,
seen kind of a trend in questions about it, and I just was like, hey, we could get ahead of it. So the question is Google Fonts and GDPR compliance. So in late February, a court in Germany ruled that if you're using Google Fonts, then your website is not GDPR compliant. And so we've had a lot of people reaching out and saying, hey, how can I transition from using Google Fonts to a custom font?
mm,
And that's what I'm going to show you how to do today.
okay.
Cool. So I will show you my screen. So this is a site that I built just as a sample site. And so the first thing what we want to do is we want to see, is my site even using Google Fonts? So we want to start at the dashboard of our site. And if we click on the Fonts tab, makes sense, Fonts in the Font tab.
Yeah.
Right up top, we're going to see Google Fonts. If you have added Google Fonts, they'll be at the bottom of this section. So we can see here that I have an added Google font. I have Roboto, and that tells me the weight as well. I have regular and then 700.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that I want to take note of because this is what we want to replace when we get down the line. So that's one place that I can check to see if Google Fonts are being used. The second is on my site itself. So if we transition over to my actual website, justadoginabalaklava.com, if you right click on it and inspect, it's going to pull up our console. If I click on the network tab and refresh the page, it's going to give me some information about my site. Specifically, what I'm looking for is to see, is webfont.js loading? If it is, that means that you're using a Google font. So those are two places that we can check to see if we're using it. So now that we know, oh, I am using a Google font, let's figure out how to replace it. So I'm going to go to fonts.google.com. And in this search bar, I'm just going to type in Roboto, since that's the font that I'm replacing. That's why I wrote it down earlier, so I don't have to go back and forth between tabs. Mm-hmm. And here it is. All we do is we click on this card, and it's going to take us to the specific font family. And all we have to do is click Download Family, and it's going to give us a nice zip drive or zip folder, a zip file. That's the word, down here in the bottom left corner. If I just click on that, it's going to unzip it for me, and it's going to be ready to use. So now all I have to do is I go back to my dashboard, same fonts tab. If I come down to custom fonts, I'm going to click Upload. And I'm going to go to my Roboto folder. Mine just pops up. You may have to look for yours, but it's pretty easy to find. And here, I'll give a little caveat. It's best practice to only use like 2 or 3 different font styles within your website. And so even like the different weights and the different types, if you're not going to use it, there's no point in adding it to your site. It's just extra nonsense that you don't need on there. So I'm going to go for regular, which is what I'm using, and bold, which is the 700. So when I click open, it's going to drop those into our dashboard. Now, this is a super, super important step. Whenever I add a custom font in, I want to change the name. This is going to help us down the line when we're replacing fonts, so that I'm not trying to replace a font that has the exact same name, because that can get confusing. So whenever I add a custom font, I'm super creative and I write custom behind it. And since it's the same family, I want those to match. And then honestly, you just click upload, and there it is. I have installed Roboto Custom, and now we're ready to replace all the instances of my Google font on my site itself. You're probably like, well, SJ, what the heck? How do I find where those are? I'm so glad that you asked. So if we go to the site itself, right click again and inspect, we're going to look in the elements for this head tag. A little arrow next to it. I'm going to drop it down. And there's going to be a link that ends with .css. I want to open this in another tab. Now, Nelson,
okay. Yeah,
I know you're a little squeamish. It's going to be a lot of text. It's going to be okay. We're going to make it through this together.
Okay. That's a wall of text.
It's a wall of text. So typically
this is the magic of Webflow right here, that you don't have to write this. What is this? Oh, so Webflow icons is all these characters. Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah. So don't worry, friends. All you need to do is Command F, and then I usually just type in the font that I'm looking for, so I don't have to like scroll through all of this stuff. So I just arrow down, and there it is. The reason
Okay.
that we're looking for this is it's going to tell me all of the elements that have this font tied to it. So I see Roboto is the font family. If I look up here, I can see that heading 1
Mm-hmm.
is the only instance. I have 1 out of 1 that's being used.
Yeah.
Now, it's a super simple example site.
Yeah.
So for those of you following along at home, you may see 30 out of 30, right? Since you probably have a fuller built out site. But this will still be the same kind of thing. You just write down these elements and you can find them within the designer. So I'm going to write down heading 1. I'm going to head back to my dashboard. We're going to find that and replace it. So I want to click into my designer. I usually just open it in another tab. That way I can come back to this one.
Yeah.
And now what I usually do when I'm looking for an element is I'm going to go to the style manager and I'm going to type in heading 1. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
If I click on this list, it's going to tell me the elements that are affected on this specific page, but it also does this super, super helpful thing. And it tells me other pages that have elements that are affected by it. So if you're not using a style guide, which is you make one change to the heading 1 and it's going to change it across your site, this may be a helpful way to find where your other elements are that are affected.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you're not using style guides, start with those. They really help, especially with this kind of stuff. Just search Webflow style guide clonable, and the community has made a lot of them. I don't know how many exactly, but yeah, go find them and clone them.
Yeah, they're amazing. Every time I talk to somebody, it's like, I'm new to Webflow. I'm like, style guides, just like the first thing. So
Yeah.
we're going to take a look at heading 1. So heading 1 is right here. I'm going to go down to my typography, and I'm going to see my font that I'm using is Roboto. This is where past SJ was like, I got you, because now when we look at our fonts, we have Roboto and our Roboto custom. So the custom is the one that we want to change it to. So I'm going to change that. So now my font for heading 1 is Roboto custom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to publish just to make sure those changes get made. Shouldn't take too long. It's a pretty small site. And there it is.
Okay.
And so now we're going to double check just to make sure that I didn't miss any elements. So I'm going to go back to my site, refresh it just to be safe, and open this CSS again. And now when I search Roboto, it's going to come up 5 times because it's going to load those custom fonts as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go down and I see heading 1 has been changed to Roboto custom. And then I see where those 2 the font family was added, and I have those 2 weights, the 700 and the 400. And so I've successfully replaced my Google font with a custom font. The trick is, even though I've replaced it and I've published it, if I check this network, I'm still going to see webfont.js. So just replacing it isn't going to do the trick. We have to go back to our font tab within Webflow, and we want to delete this Google font.
So that's the last step.
Google fonts. Final step is deleting this. That way, there's no, any user that's on my site isn't going to see any changes because it's kind of like replacing it and then deleting
doing the whole Indiana Jones thing where you have the jar and okay,
exactly,
you saw nothing.
That's right. So we just delete it and publish. Come on, publish.
And publish again.
Shouldn't take too long. And now when I double check my site in that network tab, I do not have that webfont.js, which means that we have successfully moved from Google Fonts to a custom font. And that is the FAQ.
Thank you. A lot of good tips there. And it makes sense why you wanted to delete the Google font last, is because you want to double check. It seemed like you want to double check on everything before actually just doing the switch.
Yeah, and my
So
recommendation too is if you have several Google fonts that you're using and you want to replace them, just do it one font at a time. Because if you're trying to balance like, oh, I have Roboto and a bunch of others, you're trying to juggle different custom fonts that you're downloading and like trying to upload them. I would just find all of one, replace it, delete it. And I keep
yeah.
hitting my mic like a
It's
noob.
okay.
I talk with my
It's
hands a
okay.
lot, which isn't conducive to having a mic boom in front of you. But I would just do one font at a time so that you
Yeah.
can just keep everything straight.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you so much for that solution. So again, if you want to see these tips, you can watch the replay of this if this is affecting your project or your client's project. And y- uh you have to adhere to GDPR policies. Yeah, watch this replay and replace your fonts. So thank you so much, SJ. And now
You
it's
bet.
time for open Q&A. So yeah, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them into the live chat and they will be passed over to me. If you want us to look over your project, whether you have a project issue or you just want some project feedback, use the form link at the top of the chat right now. Fill out that form, and that will also get passed over to me. So, yeah, let's do this. First question is from Lucas. I have a question. How to stop Webflow native forms to returning success or error messages? Is there to use forms actions to deal with it? Thanks. Um let me try to reword this. How do I stop Webflow forms from returning success or error messages? Oh, okay. So when a user submits a form, Webflow either shows the success message or an error message. How do you stop Webflow from showing uh, any of those once someone submits a form? So, do you know the answer to that, or
No,
should I?
that's a great question. I've never considered it.
Me
So
neither.
go ahead.
I'm wondering what the purpose of this user experience is. Um, because when someone submits a form, someone wants that feedback that it was received or not received. It's kind of like saying, uh, it's like saying, "Hi, SJ," and then SJ just stands there. It's like, so this would be the user experience. Hi, SJ, how you doing? Yeah, feels awkward. I like how you played off of me. Played off of me on that one. Nice improv. But if you're trying to do something else with integration with another I don't know, third party integration, I think this is what you would do. So let's go to my screen real quick, and I'm going to just choose a layout, and let's use contact form. So I have a contact form here that I just dragged in, and let's go to my element settings. Let me find the form. Hold on. There's the form block right there. So when let's just dive deeper into the form block. So in this form block, we have, or any form block that you add into Webflow, you have your form, and then you have the success message and error message. And both success and error uh, are automatically display none. Okay. But after the form is submitted, they'll either see this or this. So I guess if you don't want to show any of them, you can just take the success message and force it to be the display can't be changed for forms. Okay. So if I can't display none, I guess I'll just do opacity 0, and then same thing with the error message. If you want to move on to a completely different page though, like say someone submits this and the information gets captured by Webflow, you can do a redirect URL right here where I don't know, it goes back to your home page or something, or goes to a completely different page, something like your website slash. I've seen this happen where it goes to a completely different page, and it's a bigger thank you page, you know so the information still gets captured, still gets sent to you via email thanks to a Webflow's platform, and then it redirects to a completely different page on your site. So maybe that's what you're looking for. This will only work on success. It will not work on error. All right. But again, you want to give that user experience when someone says hello. You don't want the other side just drinking and pouring coffee and ignoring you. So you're not ignoring me, SJ. I know.
No, and I will say too, you'll want them to, from, I guess, in my experience, if a form doesn't go through, I want to know that it doesn't go through. Otherwise, I'm just thinking, oh, they're not responding to me, or you know what I mean? I think that error message, say, is super important.
Mm, okay. Okay. And I see a response from Lucas right now in the live chat. The submit button is opening a Calendly automatically. So yeah, you can do that redirect URL to Calendly. You know, and I think Calendly, Webflow does have a university article on how to integrate Calendly into there. So um, maybe watch that, and you don't have to use Webflow form at all. Because I know Calendly has their own form. So yeah, there's that. All right. Next question. Karim is asking, why not search for Roboto in the style manager and find all the instances of Roboto there? Okay, so this is a question for you, SJ, based on your FAQ solution. Um, yeah, so why would you go into deep into the CSS and double check that the font is in there rather than just using Webflow's style manager search?
Because I wasn't aware that it would search for fonts. I mean, that's just my like lack of knowledge, I guess. I
Oh,
didn't know. I
that,
didn't know you could type in fonts,
hold
or
on,
if you
hold on.
can.
This is this could be on me too. There's just so many things happening in Webflow that I'm like, wait, what? Let me try to. I'm on my screen right now. I don't have Roboto, so let me just do like Montserrat. I know is from Google Fonts, so I set that. If I go here to the Style Manager, Mont. Oh,
It's even better.
there it is. Today we learned.
There it is. No, I like that. I like that a lot.
Oh man. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Karen, for that tip. See, we're learning from each other.
Yeah, I would, just me, I would still double check the CSS because I like to double check the code. But that's
See,
brilliant. I
that's
like that a
see,
lot.
that's you being a teacher. You want to make sure double check the work. You want to make sure that everything is correct. And
Yep.
then when it is correct, do you give people like do you give our community members when you say, "Oh, you did it right." Do you give them a gold star sticker somehow?
Yeah. Yep. Every time. It's just part of my email signature.
You have a gold star emoji.
You know if you got one. Uh, no, you can take the teacher out of the classroom, Nelson.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Next question from Alan. Is there a way that the feature image of a blog post can also have a thumbnail automatically generated rather than having to do it twice? Is there a way that the image okay, I get it. I get it. Let's go to my screen so I can set this up real quick. Okay, so if you have let's create a example collection real quick. Look at that. I just made a database like in 10 seconds. Bam. Oh, that would have been cool if it happened. Bam. Well, third time's a charm. Ah, okay. It's creating sample CMS items. There it goes. All right. So this is a blog post and it has two image fields. It has a main image and a thumbnail image. And I think what Alan is asking for is like sure, you have a main image that's good for the blog post page, but like the thumbnail image should be smaller, maybe cropped in a certain way. Um, and it needs to be automatically generated. So Webflow doesn't have an automatic cropping or scaling tool. You can scale down the main image, but the main image is still going to be whatever canvas size, resolution size it is. But with code, you can scale it down and use object fit, but it's still going to be big. So you want to make a smaller version. And I've heard about BannerBear. I don't know if you heard about it, SJ.
No, I haven't.
There's this no code way. It's called BannerBear. I learned it from Colleen from the FinSuite community. And it's a cool way to make thumbnails uh and automate it. So there is an API that actually connects with Zapier. So I think what you can do is, I can't think of it right now, but maybe there's a way where, like with Webflow, you create a private form and then you submit your data through that form, your CMS data through that form, and it gets sent to Zapier. Zapier sends the data to Webflow, but the images send it to BannerBear to process and then send it into your CMS item. So I think that could be a way. And you can also put type in the image. So as you can see here, there's no live type in this thumbnail. Okay. So there's no live type in this thumbnail. The type actually came from the API. So there's a tip. There might be other solutions out there that does this, but like this is what I heard of. And I think it's pretty cool and interesting.
That's super rad.
Yeah. Steve, I need some help with a design. My client wants boxes, buttons, and cards. Oh my, with corner cuts on the bottom left and top right. No idea how to do this in Webflow. Thanks. Corner cuts, CSS corner cut. I don't. Is it possible? Notched boxes. I'm just googling it. That's what, as a real designer developer person would do, they would Google it. That's basically the job. And I'm seeing here in CSS tricks that, yeah, it is possible. Is this okay? This is an image. So let's see here. Okay, so clip path. Okay. Oh, right there. I think this is what you're looking for. There you go. I'm gonna copy and paste it into chat. And I think there you go. So it's possible. So you'll need to add some custom code, but it doesn't seem that bad, not that complicated. Hmm. I didn't know about this. Did you, SJ?
No, I whenever I have a question, my go-to is the forum, because 9 times out of 10 somebody's asked a question before. And there's notches on the corner of div, and somebody breaks it down really well on how to actually do it within Webflow.
Huh. Okay, so you do board. Oh, well, nah. Okay, there you go. Yeah, yeah. See, they're doing the same thing.
Yep.
Oh wait, no, they're doing gradients. Okay, yeah, you can get away with it through gradients, but I think for a real cut, instead of using a color cut, because what if you have like different colors in the background?
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think a real cut would be that other way. But yeah, great question. All right, Lucas. Hey guys, I'm using a JavaScript snippet for making tooltips, but it doesn't give me a lot of control. Do you have any lessons for tooltips? Have you done any tooltips, SJ?
I have not.
Yeah. The, I feel like the no code way is just a lot of position absolute and then some sort of interaction with hovers, but I'm interested to see uh Lucas's project. So let me pull this up. All right. There we go. Okay. Let me refresh the preview. Okay, nothing's happening. Okay, I think that's the oh, because it's a JS. So I wonder if he has published it. Okay, this is an animation test. Cool. Okay, card section. Which page is this? This is slash test. All right, let's see here. Let's see what you got. Oh, looks like it's working, but it doesn't give me a lot of control. I'm
Yeah.
wondering where he got this from. This code. Yeah. I know there's a lot of code out there to do tooltips. Tooltip fade. I think the control is here. Can I zoom in somehow? Close. Where's my? Oh, there it goes. So all these options, I think, gives you more control. But oh, there's a thing called Tippy.js. Tippy.js. Oh, that makes sense. Tippy.js. So we're learning this together.
Yeah, this is well outside of my knowledge base.
It's all good. It's all good. Oh, so yeah, see the placements. So I'm not sure what control you're trying to find, Lucas, but I feel like going through their documentation makes a lot of sense. Like placement, you want it at the top or on the right, bottom left, and stuff like that. So if I'm looking at your code, it seems like you don't have a placement, so you can just add one simply with code. Um, oh, look at this. Wow, I really want to use this now. There's so many things. Oh, there's so many. I want to play with this. Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome. I'm adding it to my bookmarks right now.
Yes, yes, yes. Uh, Tippy.js. Here, let me put the link in chat. This is nice. Rubber band. Oh. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can control with this. Not yeah. Yeah, so I'm not sure what the ask is either, but yeah, Lucas, thank you for sharing and I've learned something new. I want to see that's the problem with web design. There's always something new. Like a kid at a toy store, you're like, "Oh, something shiny. Oh, something shiny. I want to try that." But there's not enough time.
Right?
You reach that threshold in adulthood. I think as we grow, as a kid, you have a lot of time, but not enough money. And then as an adult, you have no time but some money to play with the things. And so I want to play with this. I want to play with I want to play with BannerBear. Oh,
All the things. This is super cool. I like that a lot.
yeah, this could be very, very useful. All right, let's move on to the next question. And thank you all so much for your questions. These are good. These are good. Alexander's asking, I'm using Airtable as an albums database. Am I able to use the CMS designer blocks in Webflow to pull in content from Airtable, or do I have to make my own JavaScript on the page to pull slash display my data? Um, yeah, I don't I don't. I know that you can pull Airtable data with Zapier. You can do something between Airtable and Webflow. That's as much as I know. I need to dive into that more, but I really think I don't know. SJ, do you know anything about Airtable and working with Webflow?
No, I was gonna say the exact same thing. Like I know that I love Zapier because it's this wonderful kind of go between with all of these integrations that makes them functional on
Hmm.
Webflow. And that's my only experience has been like with using Zapier to pull in content. I don't know the answer specifically to this question, but I would say yeah, look into using Zapier.
Yeah, yeah, and Aaron who works at Airtable, he would know. He loves integrations of no code and Airtable. Just search him out on YouTube. Aaron Airtable, you'll find him. He probably has the answer, or just send him a tweet. Yeah. Okay. So Chris, next one, Christian. Can I make Webflow forums GDPR compliant like Google Fonts. SJ, would you know about this?
For forms,
Mm-hmm.
how is it? I want to say that to make forms GDPR compliant, there's something we got to do. I have notes. I have so many
Mm-hmm.
notes, but I think it's using a third party like integration for your forms.
Mm.
Let me double check. Nelson, do you
No.
know just
I,
off?
all I know is if we go to my screen, on your project settings and then the forms tab at the very bottom, there's these settings where you can hide form submissions. And I know that during the whole GDPR ramp up, our team has created this and also this restrict upload file access. So those were the type of things. And yeah, so if you click on this link, it'll bring you to the EU and Swiss privacy policy to explain why we've done that and how it's affected by GDPR. But other than that, um, I don't know where else to go. I mean, the reCAPTCHA, I guess, add that to your forms. But yeah, that's as far as my knowledge goes for that. So sorry if that doesn't answer your question, Christian.
And we have a
Um,
checklist too, Nelson,
yeah.
to ensure that forms are GDPR compliant.
Oh,
Um,
where's that at?
it's a long URL, but I will drop it to you so that you can share it with everybody else.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. Oh wow, that is a long URL. Let me drop it here in chat as well. Um okay. Oh yeah. Oh, well then there you go. It's just checking so three things. If you're using third-party tools, yeah. So don't pre-check boxes. Oh yeah, yeah, don't pre-check. Uh do include clear messaging. Yeah. So there you go. Hopefully that helps. Next question. Do we have any other questions? I'm going to go through the chat. There we go from Nicola. Video background format .mov and .mp4 sometimes is not working on Safari, but works on Chrome. Uh, yeah. Do you know about this, SJ? If a background video element doesn't work on Safari?
Yeah, excuse me. I always double check what version of Safari you're using, because sometimes older versions don't have the same functionality. And then I don't know. I've run into it before, and I think it's usually a case by case basis of seeing, are there other like interactions or animations or anything on the page that could affect that, or blur or anything like that. So I would love to take a look at the project
Mm.
itself
Okay.
if we have it.
Yeah, we have it. Here, let me. I'll give you the webflow.io link, and this is going to be our, think, second to last or last question that we have time for. But there you go. If you want to pull it up on your screen, SJ.
Cool. Look.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I wonder if this is. Let's see if we can find that. But
There it is.
this is
That,
the one.
yeah.
I'm curious. I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna open a Safari link. We'll see if it works.
And the part whenever I hear like sometimes working, I'm like, oof. How do you, those are the harder bugs. The one that say like it sometimes works, and the sometimes the bug happens. It's like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. So I'm not gonna put it on screen because it becomes super pixelated, and
Okay.
I don't want to
Well, is it
affect anyone
playing
who's
in?
sensitive to that. It is playing, but
Okay.
excuse me. It's kind of shaky. This is one that I would say send in a request to support, and we'll double check, and we'll look into this.
Okay. And if you go to my screen, I just want to further clarify what happens with the Webflow background a video element. So Webflow puts in this code, this code right here. So what's happening is Webflow finds the first frame in the video and makes it a JPEG, and then adds it as a poster. And so a poster is, if the video doesn't load at all, you'll still have a fallback of a static image. And then it also creates this video tag, HTML5 video tag, and it adds autoplay. It makes it loop, and then it does two things. It Even if you upload a .mov, it'll convert it to a .mp4, which is compatible with I think Firefox and Safari. And then it also makes a .webm, as you see here. WebM, I think it means web movie or web media, something like that. And that one is more compatible with Chrome. And so that's why you see two sources here, just to make sure it covers all the bases. So it should be working in Safari, but yeah, send in a support ticket and say, "Help me, SJ, you're my only hope." And then they'll route it to him.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead. Last question. Here we go from Jenna. My client is wanting to have an international phone code drop down in a form that only has a select list of countries, around 8 countries. I'd like the drop down to have a country flag plus country phone code. Is there a way to achieve this? It would be nice to have this as a CMS collection and pull in the data, but can't figure out how to pull in the flag images. Ooh. Um,
I've personally, I've never seen an image on a drop down. I think that'd be pretty rad. Kind of help narrow it down. But have you had any experience with that, Nelson?
I mean, there has to be a way. I think this is too complicated to try to answer right on this stream. But my mind is, if you're only doing 8 countries, then that's already uh, that to me is like, okay, it's achievable to have some sort of JavaScript that's saying like, if uh if phone code equals this, like if phone code equals 1 or something, and that's the United States, right? Yeah. So if phone code equals 1, show US flag. If phone code equals something else, show this other flag. So maybe there's a way to do that in JavaScript, and then sending that data into the CMS. You would need to have Zapier. So you would send the eh, have a hidden field or something. Okay, now it's getting complicated. Yeah, you would need hidden fields to send, not hidden fields. Yeah, you would just need to send that data to Zapier back into to Webflow. But in the future, come on, Logic, Webflow Logic, that you wouldn't need that step. It would just go instantly. But sorry I couldn't answer your question on this stream. I would have to code up a couple of things, and we don't have time for that. But again, ask on the forums, and the community really would help you out. And
Oh man, it's our community is full of brilliant, brilliant people, and I love just the support within the community forums. It's super rad.
oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, that's where I started. That's where a lot of people who before worked at Webflow and then made their transition. We were all just in the community, and we're still in the community. So yeah, thank you all to everyone who's helping out. So yeah, time to end the stream. Sean, before we let you go, is there anything else that you want to say to the community?
No, I just like thanks for being awesome. I've worked other support positions, and I have never supported such a kind and patient community that is willing to work with us. Like, so thank you, because you make my day so much easier, and I look forward to coming to work to support this awesome community. So thank all of you. Yeah.
Thank you for your help. Yeah, Really, really appreciate it. So yeah, if you have any account or technical support, please go to support.webflow.com. SJ and the rest of the customer support team will be on hand to help you with those questions. If you have any design or custom code questions, like what we had from Jenna, yeah, please post that on our forum, which is at discourse.webflow.com. And if you get your question answered, please pass that favor forward and answer someone else's question so we can all grow together. Next stream, heads up, next stream, next Wednesday, we're going to have an interview with John D. Saunders from 5.4 and Lina Bartosh of Hunt Gather. All right, this is going to be a good one. This is all about the Generation No Code docu series. They were featured on it, and right after the stream, Lina's episode drops. So stay tuned for that if you have time. But if you can go to webflow.com/TV for more information on that. That's about it. Again, thank you all for your honesty, your constructive criticism, all of your feedback. We read them all. So keep that going, and help us grow with you. And so when we grow, you grow, and vice versa. So let's just keep this going. Thank you all so much. Everyone who's in the live chat typing, everyone who's in the live chat watching, or if you're watching recording, we appreciate you all. And that's it. I'll see you next time. And as always, make the web beautiful together. See ya.